Hi, and welcome to my analysis of the two matches we got from the JoJo's All-Star Battle League, Josuke vs Bruno and Jonathan vs Theo. As I've said, I'm mostly doing this to improve my ability to talk through things, as I'm not very good at doing it on I stream, and I'd really like to get better at it. Before we start, I'd like to thank Alpha Booster for letting me use the footage he recorded and uploaded to YouTube, as Namco Bandai's taking a lot longer to upload it than I thought they would, and his is definitely the best quality available on YouTube so far. So please check it out in his channel if you haven't already. Without any further delays, let's get started. I really like these intros and how they turned out. Obviously, this one isn't character specific or anything, this is just general intros, but they're quite nice nonetheless. I also quite like this beginning of the round style they have, where you can move around and summon your stand. It's pretty different from most games out there, so it's a nice change. Here we have the beginning of the rush mode. I'd like to quickly point out that as you can see the names of special moves beneath the super meter, you can see that Josuke is using da-da-da-da and Bruno is using adi-adi-adi. So it is in fact the two punchy moves colliding and not just any stand move. Obviously, that's how most people thought it was going to be, but this should confirm it and alleviate any worries. Because it does go for a while, even though it does look quite cool. But if it's two moves clashing like that won't happen that often, I think it's okay. This punch that Bruno's doing looks like it's pretty slow for how far it goes, which is a bit unfortunate. Also, this slide he does doesn't have an active hitbox until it until you activate the follow-up, which ruins its use a bit as an attack, but still makes it okay as a movement option if you're going to use it like that. Pause there so you can see the jump arc. During the Tokyo Game Show build, the jump arcs were really bad, and my primary worry with the game actually, because they were really floaty and really high. So it was kind of like a death sentence jumping, if anyone could anti-air you whenever they wanted, even if they whiffed something. But now this jump arc this is like the peak of his jump arc even. It's pretty low to the ground, and pretty fast, so I'm not really that worried anymore. Looks like a pretty standard jump arc, and you're about to see when I unpause that Josuke is in fact crossing up Bruno right now. This super doesn't combo from the cross up though, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. This taunt, I pause it just before the meter goes down so you can see approximately how much it takes down. Takes away about an 8th, as you can see. About an 8th, you know, not that much. And so even though the taunts go for a while, I don't think you really have to worry about them being used that much and interfering with the game flow, because it only takes away an 8th, and it ruins your chance to use a mix-up on your opponent's wake-up. And if I remember right, it isn't guaranteed. It's definitely not worth using it on every knockdown. It'll only be something you use against specific characters in specific situations, like say if Cars turning into the ultimate being is really strong and you never want to let him get to 2 bars, then you'll definitely taunt him every time you can with specific combos so that you can do it. Otherwise, it'll just be a nice option. Probably. Obviously, I can't predict everything about a fighting game before it comes out. So adi-adi-adi looks like it comes out pretty fast, which is pretty nice, because I always thought that Bruno should have a fast mass punchy move, because he used it quite a bit no longer. This super looks pretty cool as well. I liked how it has turned out. Gives him a little bit of recoverable health. This barrier as well looks really strong actually, because as you're about to see, you can't cover it in one sidestep. Sidesteps run straight into it. And unlike most barriers in most fighting games, it's not just a wall, it's actually an active hitbox. So you can use it for combos later on as well. This tackle in the da-da-da-da that Josuke does looks like it's pretty nice, because it goes a fair distance and looks fairly safe as well. So, should be a pretty cool move. And this OTG that he does here, as you can see, it leaves the ground broken, which is pretty important for the move that he has in his move list, but I actually mucked up the translation. I fixed that now. I thought it was during Dora, but it's actually after Dora, using the broken ground. They're both in their comeback mode now, as you can see. Josuke's in the red standard go mode that most of the cast has, that just buffs your damage and your meter gain. I was never really worried about that one, just sounds kind of like Tekken's rage mode, which was never that big of a problem. I was more worried about the one that Bruno is in, called preparedness mode, that only 4 characters have so far, which gives you super armor and more meter on when you get hit. I thought it would be really broken if you got it like here, but since you get it like here, you don't really have enough health to take advantage of it. Because with this much health, you're not going to be hit that many times more before you die, so you're not getting that much more meter. And you don't have enough health to really absorb many more moves. Like, 2 more moves and you're probably dead from this health anyway. So I'm pretty content with how they balanced this out. As you can see there, he just did the teleport. It was really fast. I don't know if it'll be that useful, because setting up broken ground and then replacing it later on seems like it's hard to get the ground in the right place. But given you can OTG after his super, as he did before, you'll probably be able to do it anyway, and then just later on, if the ground is broken in conveniently the right place, you'll just be able to teleport there, since it was pretty fast. Pretty happy with it as an option. That bullet has a really neat arc. Bruno's teleport as well. Looks like it's too slow to really do anything, but it looks really cool, so, you know. Doesn't matter that much. Cool takes priority. This is the normal follow-up to Josuke's level 1 super, when you don't do the bullet follow-up. Don't know what the purpose of not doing the follow-up would be, but as you can see, Bruno gets about this much health back. Can't see because he's in the way, I'm sorry, from his resurrection. Since you only get it when your opponent's on match point, and it's not that much HP, I think it's okay. It's basically just adding on that much HP to his full health bar. So I guess they balance it in such a way that Bruno would be a character who has more HP normally. The announce is pretty nice here as well. And Josuke finishes it again with that tackle. Of course, if you can parry any of the hits, then it's not very good. Or parry stylish move any of the hits. I might call it parry occasionally. This intro is character specific and it's still really nice, but the facial reactions don't really match what they're saying, which is a bit annoying for me. I'm sure I'll get over it, or maybe they'll change it. But, like, he says JoJo with such anger there, but his face doesn't really reflect it. Doesn't really matter though. That air Muda looks like it had really nice range. As you can see, Jonathan just then did something that all the Harmon users can do, which is basically an EX move. It's a Harmon version of the special, or a Ripple version. He does a Ripple version of this ground projectile, which is the Sendor Harmon Overdrive, if I remember right. And it launches Dio. So presumably you could combo off it if you weren't the AI. So it looks really good. All the Harmon users can do that. Previously we only knew Joseph could do it, but now it's basically confirmed they all can. This Muda looks like it has really good range, actually, as well. Because the world goes pretty far forward. And its fists are really long as well while it's doing that. The zone punch, I thought it'd go a bit further, given how slow it is, but it does still go really far. And given it's a command normal, it could be special cancelable. So you could do zoom punch into the EX ground projectile for a full combo. If you can do that, it's pretty good. Otherwise, it seems a bit iffy, but something you might want to throw in anyway just because of its range occasionally. As you can see, this combo does about that much damage. You could ignore the silver health here. Dio gets recoverable health against every character except for the Ripple users. So it's just there for you would have this much recoverable health if Jonathan didn't use the Ripple. So this is basically like the limiter for damage on combos, if you will, because that was basically just standing light, standing medium, standing heavy into Ripple, Barrage, into Super. So that's basically the least technical combo you could possibly do in any situation with one bar. So the damage from this situation can only get higher. Depending on how the scaling is, the damage might end up here for good combos, or it might end up like over here, more like the old JoJo's game. We'll just have to see how the game progresses. He didn't really gain that much meter from his Ripple breathing, which makes me a bit worried that they might not be as good as stand users, but have to see how it turns out. I'm pretty sure that didn't whiff punish the standing light. I think it was just the AI not blocking. If it did whiff punish, then it's really, really, really fast. But otherwise, it's okay. It takes a lot of damage, but it's an unscaled great heat attack for 2 bars, so again, not that worried. Full punish using that stylish move there. We'll never know what Scarlet Overdrive does, because the one time he uses it, it gets blocked. Poor Jonathan. Gets beaten up by things he can't even see. This win quote is basically just my friend, your body has become my future, so it's a nice place to finish on. So prior to this, I was already really excited for the game as a JoJo's fan, obviously, because they've included so much fan service into the game, with the customizations, all the characters they've put in so far, and the more to come, and the potential of customizable announcers that we've been hearing, because the previous build that they had people play apparently had a Lisa announcer, and that was obviously not Lisa. So that's really nice as well. But now, watching that as a fighting game player as well, I'm also really excited for the game, because the systems that they have in place all look like they're pretty reasonable. There's no real random mechanic like the tripping and brawl, and the stage hazards all look fairly avoidable pretty easily. And on top of that, this part we already knew, of course, all the characters are really diverse and interesting. You've got like 4 different ways of the character functioning at the basic level, which is quite diverse. So even with a bad level of balance, there'd still be quite a lot of variety in the few characters that were viable. And if there is a good level of balance, then there's a wide variety, which is basically all you need for a fun fighting game. So if the game is fun and not random, that's all you need for a competitive game, and as such, I'm really looking forward to playing it when it comes out as both a JoJo's fan and a fighting game player. Thanks for watching this video, and remember, check out Alpha Booster's channel if you haven't already for the source of this great quality video. Thanks.